it's Jess. Welcome and welcome back to the Not Carrie Bradshaw podcast / YouTube channel where I discuss all things style, pop culture, wellness, and whatever else comes up from week to week. This week we have some heavy things to discuss, but I'm going to give it to you in the format of one of my favorite podcasts that has since gone on to podcast heaven, called Happy Hour. We're going to talk about this in shots and chasers. So we're going to do a heavy topic and then something just soft, to cushion the blow, and then we'll go back into the tough shit, right? So let's get right into it. As per usual, we kick everything off with a fashion tip. This fashion tip is for the fashion girlies, especially the girls who research fashion, who are really into it, like that's the thing you nerd about. I too. Here's what, no matter how much you intellectualize why a look is fashion, like capital F fashion, you can give us all of the academic peer-reviewed, works cited, etc. of why you think a look is giving. At the end of the day, fashion is subjective. You will never convince someone to like something that they don't like. They might, oh, well, I can respect that, or I see where they were going, but you're not going to convince someone to like anything. And I feel like over intellectualizing something that is fun and that can be a form of self-expression, and that can kind of be frivolous at times because not everybody cares that much. Like the average person does not care about fashion or style the way I do, and I recognize that, and I try not to be draining about it. I don't want us to be so draining about our nerddom and our love of the history of fashion and what it means culturally and from an economic perspective, to be something that takes the joy out of it for other people. Like, if folks want to explore different aesthetics and whatnot, let them. If people don't get that, okay, it's fine, as long as they're not hurting anybody. As long as nobody's hurting anybody, let people like what they like and let people dislike what they like. If they don't quote unquote get it, that's okay. Nobody's gonna die. But to over intellectualize and, oh, I just feel like you're not getting what the joke is. People don't give a fuck. It don't matter. It doesn't matter if it's self-referential or if it's meta or what she's actually doing. A lot of people don't care. Don't be annoying. Don't be draining with anything. Like, I feel like the theme of this episode is we're losing the plot. We're losing the plot. Things are getting just a bit too serious. Let bitches enjoy what they enjoy and let people not like what they don't like, as long as they're not hurting nobody. Like, let's all just like move on with our lives. It's just clothes. I love it. I'm intrigued by it. I think we can learn a lot from it. But let's just fucking relax. You gotta relax, okay? And we're gonna get into that, actually. So, shot one. It's our first shot. Shot one. Rapper Lil Boosie continues to terrorize his daughter, who identifies as gay. This is some very wild behavior from a person who continues to spew problematic shit. If you are here, then you already know what those things are. We don't need to recite them. But for a man who has several songs celebrating lesbian shit, hyping it up, having benefited from it from a sexual perspective, is so very wild for you to also be homophobic. So I just don't think that homophobic men deserve threesomes. As someone who strives to be an ally, even people who identify as LGBTQ plus IA, all of the things, still have some internalized homophobia. That's their business. I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about like people who identify as straight, participating in queer behavior, but then also being very openly aware, externally homophobic. Then leave gay shit alone. You shouldn't be allowed to benefit from or derive pleasure from it if you're going to be heterosexual and also openly, overtly homophobic. That's just not fair. That's not fair. So, chaser, I really love when I go to a cafe and they have honey already warmed up and it's kind of liquefied. You don't have to like turn it upside down and wait for like that slow drizzle of it to come out. it's just such a little luxury, such a little moment of thoughtfulness that someone did that morning when they came in and got set up for the day. Just warm the honey. It's already warm, it's already liquefied. The bottle isn't sticky. I just find that to be so pleasant. Such a nice little moment of thoughtfulness for the day. Shot two, we've lost the plot in terms of being a delulu girl. You can be delusional. You need to be delusional so that your life has a little bit of whimsy. Because again, we love to frolic around here. We love pleasure and leisure around here. And with things being the way they are in so many ways, right? We could benefit from some delusion. It feels crazy to. I was talking to my sister about this the other day. She's planning my niece's first birthday party, and she's like, it feels a little bit odd that there's so much going on because we're from Atlanta. The like North Carolina, Georgia, Florida, South Carolina got hit really hard with the hurricane, right? And people in Augusta, Georgia are like without power for days. Like my family in South Carolina has still been without power. Like they're having a hard time finding food. All these things are happening. There's a chemical plant fire back home in Atlanta. And she's like, and I'm planning my daughter's first birthday party, like making balloon arches and shit. And it's like, yeah, we have to find joy in this life where we can because so much is going on. So you do need to be a little bit delusional, but you cannot be dumb. You got to find that balance. You have to find that balance. We're losing the plot. Be delusional, but don't be an idiot. And I'm going to leave it to you to figure that out on your own. Chaser number two, standing on business is hard. It's really challenging to be a woman who likes men right now. And when you reach a point in a relationship where it's like, I don't think this is working. I don't know if you're the goofy bitch or I'm the goofy bitch here, but this isn't working. We need to go no contact. Like this is done. Even if it wasn't like a traumatic breakup, like even if it wasn't a crash out situation, standing on business, walking away from a relationship that you thought was gonna be like your one, that shit is so hard. Like not settling in a world where a lot of people have settled and will encourage you as a woman to settle, that shit is challenging. I see you, I hear you, we hear, I support you. What has made that easier is a few things. Number one, Cardi really went on her live and said something that I know I can attest to because I haven't made the best choices when it comes to the people I've chosen to partner with on occasion. Um, she told Offset, I'm too much woman for you. And you have to go out here and sleep around with a bunch of different women to boost your ego. And I just no longer care. It's no longer my business. I no longer care. And I truly, madly, deeply hope that Cardi is serious this time about leaving this relationship where it seems like it's dimmed her light a little bit. She is such a bright spot in the world. Like, we don't know her personally, but as a character in the world, she's such a bright spot. And I want to continue to see her be a bright spot. And I don't want the things that he's put her through to take away from like her talent and the gift that she is musically and just like her social commentary. I just enjoy Cardi B as a character in the world, and I want to see her do well and succeed and not see her get drugged by somebody who's not worthy of her. So I feel like that put a battery in a lot of people's back of like, yes, I too am going to stand on business. It made me happy. I was here for it. The other thing is there are a couple of songs that have come out that are really like stand on business anthems that are really like anti-goofy bitch. And let me be clear. I don't know any woman in my life who has not had a phase of being a goofy bitch. I feel like for a lot of us, it's just part of our character development. Now, if you are so amazing and perfect and that you've never done some compromising, not so self-aware, not so emotionally intelligent things behind a relationship, good for you, honey. Congratulations. You can collect your cookie on the way out the door, okay? Some of us have had to go through some character development out here, right? One of the things that helps you along is like a woman like really hyping you up or saying some shit that you've been trying to like tell yourself, like you've been trying to hype yourself up to believe like I deserve more, I'm worthy, da da da. A good ratchet ass like anthem of fuck 'em. Amazing. So there is an artist, I don't know how to say her name. I think it's Emiage, but she has a song called Options. It has blessed my spirit. He showed you he ain't want you, now go show his ass who do. Make him feel it in his chest. Show him you got options too. We love. He feeling like he that nigga, not knowing that you that bitch. He thought he was a player. Now he mad the roles done switched. I let the church say amen. The beat is so, it's like crunk era. It's like I want to rent a Jeep, take the doors off. I want to put my braids back in. I want to wear like slouch socks and Air Force Ones and a Cuban link chain and like an aggressive beat. And I want to like ride down 75, 85, doing like 90 because I don't really speed like that because I'm a safe driver. And I just want to blast it to the heavens. I love that song so much. Also, Mona Leo has a song called Flush 'Em where she's just like, please remember who you are. You out here stressing over, nigga, you losing weight. You done lost your ass behind this. He don't even seem like he can read. Don't do it. Is it harsh truths? Absolutely, but sometimes we need those. Glorilla's new song. These niggas ain't got no type. They want a stupid bitch. Are you a stupid bitch? No. No, you're not. Even if you are, you won't be anymore. Let's transition out of that. These songs have blessed my spirit. I'm really happy about it. Now we're on our third shot. Are you feeling it? I'm feeling it. I need to break the seal. I need to go to the restroom, right? You know how like you're drinking and you know that like the first time you go to the bathroom, you're going to be peeing all night. You break the seal. You break the seal. We're getting there. So shot number 3. The American healthcare system is kicking my ass. I have had to replace 3 doctors. If you are new here, all my followers, my close friends and family know my therapist, Dr. Carla. I love me some Dr. Carla. I can no longer afford to see Dr. Carla. She can't afford to accept my insurance anymore, so she is now out of network for me. I'm devastated. We've been rocking for almost 10 years. I love that lady. Cannot afford to see her anymore. I had to replace my gynecologist, which actually worked in my favor a bit, but like for something so personal, continuity of care is really important. So I had to replace my gynecologist. That worked out in my favor. Shouts out to her. Really like her. You need to be able to trust, like as a woman, as a person, but as a person with a uterus, right? It's several people that you need to be able to trust in your life. Your mama or a mother-like figure. You need to have like some sister, like some chosen family. You need to be able to trust your hairstylist. To be able to have a hairstylist that you know ain't gonna hit you with a hey boo text the morning of your appointment, gratitude, gratitude, gratitude. You also need to be able to trust your gynecologist. You need a person who, if you did some wild shit, you need a safe space to say, I did some wild shit. Am I okay? And not be judged. That's a really important relationship. So I'm happy I found a new gynecologist. I also had to replace my endocrinologist. That's where I got diagnosed as insulin resistant. That's where I learned that despite the fact that I was working out like 5 days a week and gaining weight, that it wasn't me not doing enough. Huge lesson in mindful self-compassion on that one, that I actually have a condition, and she diagnosed me. We started treatment, changed my life. It was a private practice. It's on Park Avenue. My endocrinologist was so lovely. She was a tiny little woman from South Carolina. We connected on that because all my family's from South Carolina, even though I'm ATLian. I can't afford to see her anymore. She is now out of network as well. Her practice can no longer afford to take people who are under my insurance. I did not know how spoiled I was. She has all these gadgets and machines to like test you for all these different things, and it was covered by insurance. And I just felt like I had like A1 healthcare. No longer. Them folks wanted $500 for that appointment, and I casually walked the fuck out because I ain't had it. So I've had to replace my endocrinologist. Huge difference in care. Huge difference in care. I was in that exam room like, is everything sterile in here? Where we at? Like, a very different experience. Um, it's a bit jarring. I felt like, damn, I don't feel like I could really afford to take care of myself. But even living in like a blue state where I feel like I have had better access to healthcare than my family and friends who live in red states, um, I didn't realize how spoiled I was until I had to go to different places. This endocrinologist really shook me. Like, I was like, where am I? It's working out though. We're figuring it out. But the American healthcare system is some shit because providers can't even afford to accept people who are employed and insured. A lot of people are having to go just like full on like private. And that sucks. It sucks that even healthcare providers can't afford to provide the kind of health that they want to provide. I'm sorry, y'all. The sun is coming out because it's like morning. If you're watching on YouTube, that's why there's sunlight on one side of my face. Sorry if that's like disorienting for you. Hallelujah for the sun. Anyway, so that's just been jarring for me because I'm like, damn, I can't really afford to take care of myself. And that's really scary. I take a lot of pride in being like a person who can like sustain their life. And that shit shook me. So, Chaser, number 3, I have found a new therapist who is very affordable. And initially, I didn't mean to be a snob about this, but it was something that I just wasn't aware of. She is technically a social worker. I forget her credentials, but she's not like a Psych D like Dr. Carla was. So I was like, I don't know about it. When I hear before this, when I heard social worker, I'm thinking like children in need. You need to slide through this house and make sure these kids are okay. Or like elders, like, you know, who need community support. I didn't recognize that there is like a therapy branch of social work. So the first session, I was like, I don't know about this, but I'm glad I stuck with it. Our second session went really well. She's a Black woman. The therapist I've had for almost 10 years was not. And there is a difference. There is a difference there. The vibe was really good. So I'm happy that this switch also worked out. So that's my chaser. I found a new therapist who is a Black woman, and the vibes are really good. I'm looking forward to seeing her again and hoping that I can continue to progress with my healing and my care and all of the things. So, segue here. You know how I say that the body keeps the score? Um, it's that thing of say you're in your goofy bitch era. I know for me, when I was in my goofy bitch era, I didn't sleep well. Anytime that I have like been involved with someone that I know kind of, I don't really need to be with this person. This shit ain't working. I don't need to be here. This ain't good. This ain't good for me. This probably ain't good for him. Something ain't right here. When I've tried to like push through and rationalize with myself reasons why I could or should stay in that space, I could not sleep. It impacted my sleep so badly. The body keeps the score. If you aren't taking care of yourself emotionally, spiritually, mentally, physically, it will impact you. So came across a tweet or something, so I looked it up. A study found that Black women are more likely to suffer from autoimmune diseases as a result of holding in like anger and suppressing anger and rage. So, quote, a 2020 study found an increased incidence of autoimmune diseases in individuals with high stress and depressive conditions. There are factors that Black women suffer from at higher rates. In 2022, researchers from the University of Pittsburgh discovered that women of color who frequently suppress their anger are 70% more likely to experience increased atherosclerosis, a condition linked to higher heart attack risks, and other studies have associated self-silencing with irritable bowel syndrome, chronic fatigue syndrome, and cancer among women. I'm going to put the link to that article in this video and podcast description if you guys want to check it out. The angry Black woman stereotype is killing us. Trying to combat the angry Black woman stereotype is killing us. Anger is a human emotion, and I say this shit all the time, and I'm going to say it every chance I get where it makes sense. Anger is a human emotion. We as Black women are humans. We are allowed to feel anger. We are allowed to positively and with intention, express that anger. Please do not be so obsessed with the white gaze or the male gaze, Gaze, not Gay, gaze, that you are not allowing yourself to be human and you are suppressing your emotions because you don't want to be considered angry. People are allowed to feel and experience anger. Please do not let these people take that away from us. If anybody has the right to be angry, it's us. The point is, with that anger, we are responsible for how we respond versus react. We're responsible for how we process and express. We don't need to be out here harming people because people have harmed us at alarming rates. And that's something that I want us to be much more cognizant of. We're allowed to be angry, but we cannot lose the plot. And there is context for everything. There's nuance to everything, but don't silence or suppress your anger, your sadness, your rage, because your body keeps the score and you only get one body in this life. Even if you go get a BBL, even if you get a breast reduction like I did, even if you stuff your face with fillers, even if you alter your body, you still only have this one body. And a part of taking care of it is honoring your very human emotions like anger. I don't give a fuck if it makes you undesirable to someone to express, hey, I don't like how you just said that. You're not meant to be desired by that person. That was something that really bothered me on the season of Love Island Love Island USA, that we've all been talking about, the one with Serena and Janae. I hated the way people talked about Serena when she blew up in response to Cordell bringing another girl back to the villa from Casa. If you don't know what I'm talking about, don't worry about it. Look it up on TikTok. But it was, oh my God, I'm so glad that my girl doesn't react like that. And it's like, yeah, your girl was crying profusely for days when you were gone. She expressed her shit in sadness. Serena had a combo special of sadness and anger, and she was allowed to feel that. She didn't break nothing. She didn't fight nobody. She didn't even like fully fucking crash out. I hate that we're expected to not be human so that people will approve of us. Like, don't give nobody that. And I can say that a part of the reason that I know I did the right thing in walking away from my relationship is I am sleeping so well. The body keeps the score. Take care of your body. That involves a lot of different things. One of them is processing difficult emotions so that you don't get sick. Chaser number 4. Did you know that if you have Amazon Prime, this is not an ad, by the way. I would love to get ads for this podcast / YouTube channel. So share and subscribe. But if you have Amazon Prime, you also get free Grubhub delivery. It's so easy. Like you can just Google connect Amazon Prime to Grubhub. That has been like a godsend. I'm really trying to be a person who does not use delivery services, as long as I'm like healthy and able-bodied. It really does still cost quite a bit. But that's a nice little thing to know, because everything is like a subscription service now. And it is really nice to know that you can get some fringe benefits from one subscription. So check that out. Okay, so this is a combo special of a shot and a chaser. Per our conversation about the angry Black woman stereotype. Again, I think we're losing the plot. A South Asian content creator made a video in response to Andrew Schultz's comments and Shits and Gigs comments about Black women being angry and abusive and all of these things. And what he said was, he's South Asian. His mom came to this country as an immigrant and found community with Black women, and told him, and I think his sister, his sibling, whomever, that told her children that if you are ever in trouble and I am not around, look for a Black woman. And she said that because when she came to this country as an immigrant, she found community and safety with us, so much so that she felt she could trust us with her children. And I think about immigrant women who come here and work as childcare providers for very wealthy people, and they end up having to leave their kids in the care of someone else. I think that it's beautiful that for a lot of immigrants come here, Black and non-Black, and they feel like a way to assimilate and to get ahead in life as an American is to align with white supremacy. And that's always been crazy to me, because it's like, when you come here, who do you feel like you look the most like? You can't aspire to whiteness enough. Like, you'll never get there. There are white people who don't meet the criteria for that kind of whiteness. So even as a kid, I remember, like, the first time that you're criminalized as a little Black girl is going to an Asian-owned beauty supply store. You get followed around, they assume that you're stealing, and it was such a complicated thing, because my mom is a hairstylist, and seeing her having to spend her money in a place where these folks didn't seem like they wanted our money, that was very complicated. So I remember, like, during the Stop Asian Hate movement, there were a lot of conversations about, like, how Asian people regard Black people. Like, how y'all want us to fight for y'all when overwhelmingly y'all have come to this country on the backs of work that we did as Black Americans during the Civil Rights Movement, where the Immigration Act made it where you can even come here. There's no respect, there's no appreciation, there's no compassion, there's so much vitriol, because in their minds the way to get ahead as an American is to be anti-Black, and they have their own, like, anti-Blackness and colorism within their own communities, right? So there's a lot. It's a very messy and nuanced situation. But the South Asian man was saying that, like, in response to this disrespect that Black women were receiving online, Black women have been so kind to me and to my mother and to my family, and have provided a safe space and community for us. And I just want to say that I appreciate you, and thank you for all the work that you do to, treat people with kindness and all these things. I thought that was really beautiful, because I wish more people would come here and seek community with us and be a part of our community and contribute positively, like, to us. Sorry, that's getting really bright. And contribute positively to our communities. I am huge on, I wish we could all just link up and, like, take care of each other. I thought that was so beautiful. But then there were several Black women who were like, I stopped listening after he started talking about the emotional labor. I stopped listening. Like, I'm tired of being pandered to, and da da da. And I was so confused, because I'm like, first of all, I think that it's not so great to offer commentary on something that you did not listen to in totality. And then also, my question is, what does support, allyship, respect, deference look like for us as a community of Black women, where it doesn't seem like we're being pandered to, where we're not being exploited for emotional labor? What does it look like? Because when people talk about how beautiful we are, then it's like, well, we're more than that. And then when people talk about how compassionate we are, then it's, I'm not doing emotional labor. Let me just add, because everybody's feelings in this are valid. And that content creator made an apology video saying, I fully understand that it's not the compliment that I thought that it was, to say that I view you as superheroes and I appreciate all the work that you do. I fully get that, but I still want to say that I'm grateful for what you've done for me and my family. And I, again, thought that that was really beautiful. Everyone's feelings are valid here. I know that I get exhausted with us constantly getting the shit end of the stick. But my question is, what does proper allyship look like for us then? What does it look like? How do we want to be celebrated, received, respected, humanized? I feel like we're losing the plot a little bit, and I don't want us to become so jaded that we can't even receive, like, positive feedback or positive receptions or positive perspectives on who we are and how we navigate the world. Like, does your soft life not involve being part of community? Because we do still live in a society, and despite the fact that we've carried a lot more weight than some people in this society, are we now saying that we don't want to be a part of it? We don't want to be mentioned. Don't talk about us. Don't look at us. Like, what are we saying here? Let's get some organization here about this. Like, what do we want it to look like then? I found that just a bit disheartening, because are you saying, like, do you think that it's emotional labor that if you're out in the world at Target on a Saturday and you're smelling candles and purchasing new Swiffer sweeper things, and a kid walks up to you and says, like, hey, I can't find my mom, can you help me? Are you then going to say, like, in real life, I'm not doing emotional labor today? So there's a content creator that I really enjoy, Tell the Bees. And he has this commentary. I think he also studies like sociology. He's very, very smart. And he has this a piece about like the loserdom, like loserification. I don't want us to become losers. One of the things that he talks about is how people think that the way things are on the internet is how things are in real life. And it's not. In real life, you're not going to turn away someone's kid who is seeking help because they've lost their mom or they got separated from their group. Far be it from me to say that it's our job to hold everybody up, because it's not. But we do still have to play our part as members of society. Let me know, what does it look like? What's the and I'm asking sincerely, what is the difference between pandering and sincere appreciation? Because I thought that that guy was sincere, but I'm not always the best judge of character. So correct me if I'm wrong with kindness, but I don't get it. I don't get it. But I thought that what he said was beautiful, and I thought that it was beautiful that a South Asian woman, despite being part of a community that is so racist against us, that has so much prejudice against us, that she came here and still found community with us, so much so that she trusted her children with us. That to me is beautiful. And especially because I think that his intention there was to say, I know what they are saying about y'all. That has not been my experience with Black women. I thought that was beautiful. So, this last shot, I know we're pissy drunk at this point. Something I want us to think about. Most headlines right now are talking about Diddy being indicted, all these multiple counts of like racketeering, sexual assault, all of these things. Something that I find incredibly disheartening is that people are saying, well, he's just freaky. What's wrong with being freaky? There is nothing wrong with kink. There's nothing wrong with exploring your sexuality. There is nothing wrong with being bisexual, but not coming out as bisexual. You don't have to come out as bisexual. You don't have to come out as gay. You don't owe anybody an explanation about how you navigate the world. The problem is consent. Is everyone of sound mind, body, and spirit to consent to participating in this stuff with you? And based on what we're seeing, allegedly, no, there was a lot happening there. What I find really interesting is the people who we give permission to be kinky. So this straight presenting, wealthy, successful man, he's allowed to be kinky, even at the expense of other people's consent. But people who are openly engaging in sex that you don't think is normal because it's not typical penetrative heterosexual cisgender sex, anything outside of that is weird to y'all. Why is it okay for him to do it, but it's not okay for other like actual consenting adults to engage in that? I mean, we know why, but it's just something to think on. Oh, since when is it illegal to be freaky? It's not, as long as everybody's consenting. Like, we losing the plot here. You can't paint with a broad brush just to defend somebody that you really like. I too enjoyed a lot of bad boy music. You know what I'm saying? Like, huge part of my upbringing. But we're going to have to also acknowledge what the hell is going on here. There's nothing wrong with kink. There's nothing wrong with exploring your sexuality. That's a really healthy part of being a human. But everybody got to be consenting. That's the caveat. Everybody has to be consenting. Last Chaser, I fully intended to get this episode out at the top of the month. It is only October 2nd, so I'm still going to say it. It's not too late. A journal entry suggestion that I have is to make a list of all the things that you accomplished in September, even if it was something as simple as you remained clothed, housed, fed, and employed. Make a list of everything that you accomplished, and now on the flip side that October has begun, make a list of everything that you're hoping to accomplish this month, even if it's just to maintain the same things from last month, because I guarantee you those very small things, if you hadn't maintained or achieved them, you'd really feel it. So just express some gratitude for yourself and for what you were able to do in September and what you're hoping to do in October, even if it's rest. One of my things was to have productive rest this month. Like, I want to be consistent with content, and I want to take care of myself. I want to work out more and all the things, but I also want to give my body like proper rest. So that's it for this week. Hope to be, like I said, hope to be consistent with you guys again. This is actually an off week for the podcast. We'll be on track, but I had some things I wanted to share with y'all. So be sure to like and comment and subscribe and share and rate and review and join my Patreon so that you can slide me some money so that I can also, you know, afford to do nice things for myself and for my community. So thanks for joining, and we'll talk soon. Bye.